Hey everyone, Tony D with another hot take, and this one is about my Super Tuesday predictions. Okay, so the Super Tuesday thing is tomorrow, March 3rd, and the Democrats in a bunch of their states hold their primaries. So the two biggest are California and Texas, but you also got Oklahoma, Alabama, North Carolina, Colorado, Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Minnesota. All right? So, Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg, in case you haven't heard, have ended their campaigns and they are expected to endorse Biden either tonight or tomorrow, ahead of the Super Tuesday. That means probably most of their supporters will go to Biden. Most. Handful full of Amy Klobuchar's will go to Elizabeth Warren, I think, because they just want a woman to win. But I think for the most part, they're all politically closely aligned enough that they could go to Biden no problem. You know, some people will just get disillusioned and drop out. Here, you want to come up, Joan? Come on. Little Joan says hi. So what you have to do then is when you look at the polls, you kind of have to add their numbers to Biden's. So when you do that, what do you get? Well, what do you got in your hair, Joan? God, this dog. When you look at California, Bernie Sanders is a winner, no matter what you add to him. I think that's probably because California is mostly socialist already, so it's not going to be a big transition if Bernie becomes president. I mean, California will basically stay the same. Then you got Texas. If you think Bernie Sanders can win Texas, you're out of your mind. I know that the Democrats have been pouring money into the state, and it's a purple state. Well, the Democrats are still pretty moderate down there. So I expect Texas will go to Biden. I think it's the one state other than North Carolina he's leading in. No, North Carolina he's leading in. Because again, he's kind of close to North Carolina, being the senator from Delaware. But I think he'll get Texas. I don't think Sanders can win Texas. Alabama is edging for Mike Bloomberg. Apparently the commercials are actually working down there. I think there's one other state Mike Bloomberg is edging out. But with the addition of the endorsements, Biden could probably take it. Again, I don't think Bernie Sanders has a chance there. Bernie Sanders is going to win California. Vermont absolutely will crush in Vermont. He will win Colorado. Because, Minnesota, that would have probably gone to Amy Klobuchar. Now that she's throwing all her weight behind Biden, it'll probably go to Biden. She's the senator of that state, so why not? If it splits up like that, Oklahoma, who was winning in Oklahoma? I think Biden or Bloomberg is also winning in Oklahoma. Oh, Massachusetts. That's another one. See, if it doesn't go for Warren, it's probably going to go to Sanders. And I don't know why Warren's even in this at this point. She is, she could win her home state, but that's about it. I guess she hopes to be the kingmaker, assuming she doesn't drop out at the last second and endorse Biden. I don't think she would endorse Bernie unless Bernie offered her the moon and the stars. I believe that, Elizabeth Warren, like a lot of people have said, is pretty much a political opportunist. The only reason she sounded like Bernie in a lot of her policies, I don't think she believes any of it. I think she just said, "Oh, this sounds like it's popular. Let's say that." So I think whoever gives her the best deal, that's who she'll back. And it's going to be Biden. Biden will give her the best deal because Bernie will, to some small extent, stick to his principles. He won't want to give her too much. He definitely won't want to give her VP slot, which I think she'll be angling for. And I don't think he would give her a cabinet position. Maybe. So I think Biden will just give her whatever the hell she wants. Um, Bloomberg maybe could buy her support, um, simply because he'd offer her a bunch of money. um, but who knows? Who knows? It would make sense if Elizabeth Warren backed Mike Bloomberg. So I think the Super Tuesday is going to be a big old mess. This is going to be split in a million different ways. You know, you might see Warren win Massachusetts, Bernie wins California and a couple other states, Biden wins Texas and a few other states, North Carolina and a few others, and Bloomberg wins like Alabama. It would be an absolute mess going into, Super Tuesday debate. Now, at that point, the super delegates would come in and they would choose who gets to run, which is going to really wreck the Democratic Party. Because remember, these are the same people that says, oh, the Electoral College, it should be decided by the popular vote. Bernie will likely go into the convention with the popular vote, but they won't give it to him. No. So rules for thee, or rules for thee, but not for me kind of attitude. And that's what every elite group of people does. And the Democrats are no different. So their choice. Now, if Bernie somehow comes up on top and like sweeps all these states, they'll probably have no choice but to give it to him because it'll be inevitable. But if he doesn't get, I believe you need a plurality of not just a simple majority. You need a plurality. So you need the popular vote and if he gets a popular vote and enough, delegates, they'll kind of have to give it to him, and Biden will just go down the tubes. That's one scenario. I think Biden is going to do well enough. He's on the upswing. They each had an uptick. Biden has timed his, probably through no intention of his own, well, because he won in South Carolina. Now he's got two big endorsements from people with significant followings that will probably back him, and everybody's got to look at that and go, oh man, we got to back Biden. Biden's going to win. And this is kind of how I thought it would go. I thought, eventually the Democrats, the moderate Democrats, would abandon. Eventually they would coalesce around someone. The only question is who. They're not coalescing around Bloomberg. Someone in the comments. By the way, this was a suggestion by Art Vader, so thank you, Art Vader, for your suggestion. But there was another person in the comments who suggests that Bloomberg can beat Trump. I don't think he can. I don't think anybody can beat Trump, quite frankly. I mean, the economy's too good. Nobody wants the economy to end. Nobody wants that to end. And if that just means, putting up with Trump for another 4 years, people are perfectly fine with giving that a shot. Nobody wants to risk it. So, Bloomberg, the idea that he could do better than Trump, I'm sure Bloomberg thinks he could do better than Trump, but Bloomberg's probably the only person who thinks that. He's just too arrogant. His debate performance, both of them, were just awful. He would get absolutely curb stomped by Trump. He would just get crushed. It wouldn't even be a debate. It would just be Trump prattling on for like an hour and a half and Bloomberg like going, well, and being indignant. Yeah, I don't think so, Mr. President. I can't really do a Bloomberg. He's got like kind of this smug, he's so sure of himself. But the problem with Bloomberg is he, unlike Trump, he wasn't in entertainment. When you're in entertainment, you kind of have to deal with people not liking you. Bloomberg buys his way through everything. Like Trump kind of does too, but not like Bloomberg. Bloomberg, I don't think, is used to the criticism that a presidential level of, look at his cringy commercials and memes and all this stuff. It's not working. It's not working at all. It's not catching fire. He's not fooling anybody. So the only people who are going to vote for Bloomberg are people who absolutely hate Trump and the other candidates. Um, and maybe they see Biden and just go, oh, this old guy can't. He'll never hang. But if Biden starts to win, if he could just keep his mouth shut, because there was another big gaffe today, so don't count out Biden's gaffe. The big gaffe today was somebody asked Biden at a town hall, hey, you know, I did real good under Trump's tax cut. What are you going to do for me? And Biden's response was basically, I'm going to raise your taxes. I mean, the worst possible thing he could have said. Worst. Not like, well, you know, we're gonna rearrange things a little bit, and you're gonna get way more from your government, and you may pay a little more in taxes, but what you get out of it will be much better. Like, he could have said it like that, and at least it would have softened the blow. But no, he just said, we're gonna raise your taxes. That's not a winning platform ever. Okay? Everybody hates taxes. Everybody. There's no one who likes it. Biden didn't even like taxes. So the idea that you could say, I'm going to raise your taxes and just leave it at that, it's a bad move. It's the worst move. He literally could have said almost anything else. He could have said, I'm going to punch you in the face. And the guy would have went, well, I don't want to be punched in the face, but at least you're not going to raise my taxes. He could have said, I'm going to sniff your daughter. Well, I don't like that, but you're still not going to raise my taxes, so I'll give you a consideration. I mean, raising taxes, that's not even, he didn't even mention the thing he was going to raise the taxes for. I mean, at least mention that. At least mention it. Jesus. But, Biden has got like 24 hours to shut up. But he can't. He's running for president. So he's got to get out there and try to convince people he's the guy to pick. And the polls say that Bernie is winning a lot. But I think Bernie's... First off, I got to think that some of this is the optimism by the poll takers and the media who want Bernie to be the nominee. So I think there's an optimism bias going on there that's skewing the results in his favor. Secondly, Biden is coming back. He's finally won a state, and it's a delayed reaction in terms of the polling. So, and between that and the two endorsements, that's really big, I think. So if you add Klobuchar and Buttigieg to Biden, Biden's winning at least half the states. He's still not going to win California, but he's making it close. Close enough that, that it could turn. If Biden throws enough, money at it. The thing that's screwing the whole thing up for Biden now is Bloomberg. Because you got to think most of the people who vote for Bloomberg probably would end up voting for Biden. Certainly not for Bolshevik Bernie. So I don't know what Bloomberg's thinking. Is he a Republican plant at this point? Or is his ego that massive that he thinks he can win this thing? I don't see how he can. I don't see how Bloomberg could win. Unless the DNC is just going to say, well, we were going to give it to Biden, but he is dying, and his brain is going bye-bye, so we're going to give it to Bloomberg. That's the only way I could see it. Like the super delegates just basically hand it to Bloomberg. They're certainly not going to hand it to Sanders unless he wins by such a big margin they have no choice. I would think the smart move at this point is just give it to Biden, let him make a run. Biden will win like 4 or 5 states. It won't look like a total blowout. He'll lose, but then people could say, well, he was old. Trump ran circles around him. He's falling apart. The poor guy, he's gaffe prone. We never should have run him. Oh, we should have. And then the Democrats can pretend to beat themselves up. Oh, we should have run Bernie. It's a shame he's too old. Oh, well. And then you could go back to your moderate platforms. Um, and you got plenty of other guys in the pipeline now. You got Klobuchar, you got Buttigieg, you got Tulsi Gabbard, some young people who don't look like they're on the verge of dying. Don't let Elizabeth Warren run again. Please. Elizabeth Warren is just obnoxious and so awful. Just one of the worst. Oh, and Bloomberg. Yeah, keep Bloomberg out. Why would you let Bloomberg run? He's ruining everything. I mean, you think, I talked about controlled opposition. Maybe Bloomberg's controlled opposition for the Republicans. Maybe he's that much of a, plant for them. Maybe he just figured, I'll give this all to the Republicans. Then I'll get a real good tax break. Or maybe he just believes in Republicans so much that he's willing to do this. I don't know. But what I do know is I don't think the DNC is going to let Bernie win. They're just not down with him. His supporters are too wacky. Nobody wants socialism. And, as bad as he would beat Bloomberg and will probably beat Biden, Trump would absolutely decimate Sanders. I don't even know what state he would win. I guess California, maybe. But only because of the weird rules in California now. I can tell you, living in New Jersey, I think Trump's going to take New Jersey. I really do. And it is a pretty blue state. Pretty blue. I mean, yeah, we've had a few Republican governors over the years, but, mostly Democrats here. Almost always Democrats. We can't get rid of Bob Menendez. Cory Booker's our other senator. You just can't get rid of senators, apparently. But as apparently as corrupt as Bob Menendez is. But, I don't see any way that a Democrat will win New Jersey. I definitely don't see Bernie Sanders. Very few people here talk about Bernie Sanders. Very few. I guess you might get some of that in New Jersey, closer to New York or whatever, and some of the more urban areas, but not down south. No way. Trump is very popular down here. There's a reason 175,000 people showed up to his rally in Wildwood. It's going to be Trump. It's going to be Trump all the way. Super Tuesday. So my prediction, if I had to do it, gun to my head, my gut feeling says it's going to be basically a two-way tie. It's going to be Sanders not getting enough, Biden getting just enough to ruin it, and Warren and Bloomberg taking enough away from Biden that he can't win. So they'll go into the convention and they'll need a brokered convention, and the superdelegates will either pick Biden or Bloomberg. I think. I doubt they'll pick Elizabeth Warren. I think she's kind of ruined. I mean, now they have Bloomberg as the alternate. I think if Biden can show them that he could go a couple of weeks without any major flubs, and it's 50-50 at this point, maybe it's him. So gun to my head, my gut feeling is probably Biden. Probably. Although H.A. Goodman's still talking Hillary Clinton, that Hillary Clinton's going to come in and take the whole thing. That would be absolute insanity. But hey, if you're going to steal it from Bernie, you might as well hand it to her again. Why not? Give her another run. Let's do 2016 all over again. And this time, when Trump wins, maybe this time you could just go, oh, well, we'll do better next time, instead of screaming and crying and peeing your pants.